Is this a real item? There's no way it is, right? This is just absolutely too perfect to be real.
Oh man, I want that for my build.
Who doesn't?
How do I get it?
Alright.
Hi, Scissorin here, and today I wanted to make a video about target farming in Diablo 4, and
Ooh.
does it need target farming? So, if you were making a build in Diablo 4 and planning out what you wanted, you might have run into one or two issues. Maybe there were some legendary aspects that you couldn't get, or maybe your build needed a unique item, a big problem that
Ooh.
druids are running into right now. So, why is that such a big problem in Diablo 4? So Diablo 4 has a really good system where every dungeon will have a legendary aspect. However, not every aspect is in the dungeon, like some of them are drop only,
True,
and then you have
true.
some builds that really want some drop only uniques, and you don't really have anything you can do to get uniques in
Oof.
particular, because you
Oh yeah, uniques are a problem, man. And those the items in Diablo 4 are build defining, okay? There are some things that, just literally make or break a build. You get one of these items, you throw everything else out the window because congratulations, you have a new build way of playing the game because just of a single item drop. And if you want to play that specifically, well, most of the good stuff is actually not in the dungeons, honestly. Most of the good stuff is just RNG drops.
can't gamble uniques with obols, so the only thing you can do is do the Helltide farming and hope that you get a unique. So far, I haven't had a single unique
And Hell Tides are only once per 2 hours.
out of Helltides, and while there are some people that have, it is obviously quite rare.
I have multiple.
And with the obol gambling, they did think about whether you should be able to get uniques from it, but you can't, apparently. So that leaves very little target farming in Diablo 4. So
None at
some
all,
target farming
actually.
that is there, there are elites. Like for example, there is a crossbow that's really good. They'll drop at like 840 item power. The problem with the 840 item power things that drop from the rares is that they also have only 3 stats and they are preset, right? They aren't like completely
Yeah.
random. So
He's talking about some unique monsters that are harder than basic monsters, but sometimes you don't even notice them when you destroy them. And they will drop an item always, and that item will have a fixed roll of stats and whatnot. That's what he's talking about. Sometimes those items are really good, but honestly, most people don't know, and most people don't even care.
well, these often end up being just starter items, and while they are target farmable and really, really good and can
Pointless,
start your build
technically.
off to a good start when you're starting World Tier 4, a lot of people are missing even basic target farming like in Diablo 2. So in Diablo 2, you had things that you could do repeatedly. For example, you could do Chaos Sanctuary or Travancore for high runes. You had Mephisto
Travinsel.
had like a pool of uniques that you could drop. And then you had, while there were things that could drop anywhere, if you spend 1 or 2 days farming Nightmare and Dario, you had a pretty big chance of dropping a Stone of Jordan. I myself have farmed probably somewhere like 30 to 50 Stone of Jordans, and most of
Dude,
those
that's a
were from Nightmare and
lot.
Dario. Oh! Oh, I got a soy! Oh my god!
See, dude, bruh, you're clearly varying 220, probably some decent res and strength and whatnot, block ratio, well not block ratio, but dexterity TR, and you're happy about a Stone of Jordan. Like, come on there, Chief. That Stone of Jordan is literally nothing compared to what you currently have equipped in the helm slot. And judging considering you have a tiara right there, that amulet probably is also not some shitty Maras, okay? That is most likely another 220 something cast speed blah 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 Gozu tier item, okay? Nothing to be excited about here, Chief. Relax.
I have one IRL! Oh my god, dude! And the way that works in Diablo 2 is that all the loot tables are public, so something might only have like a small percentage chance higher, and it usually works in the form of that there are other things that can't drop from this boss and thus limiting the loot table. Now, Diablo 4 has very little of that so far, at least as far as we know, and there are
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna agree with that, but the reality is the drop tables for farming Diablo 2 are kind of shit. Let's be real, they're kind of shit.
Other ways to solve this. Last Epoch has a very interesting system that when you're doing their equivalent of a mapping system or
Oh,
a rift system or
true.
whatever you want to call it, when you're doing the last Epoch equivalent of the endgame system, it
There
actually
are
shows you,
certain
okay,
rewards,
in
yeah.
this timeline, you're going to have a more likely chance of dropping helmets or maybe helmets and gloves.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
good. That's pretty cool.
then within that, there's also like this specific timeline will reward you
I actually completely forgot about this. I haven't played Last Epoch in quite some time now. Been months.
with a bunch of helmets. This will reward you with weapons, etc. And then there will even be sub things like this will give you unique or unique and set item, etc. So there's a lot of really good target farming in here, and Last Epoch very often gets praised for their target farming and their loot system in general.
Yeah,
Path of
it's
Exile
good.
has
It's
another
good.
system in the form of divination cards and bosses, where the bosses drop their set amount of, like, they'll have a pool.
The average person literally could not care less about divination cards. Most people just put them in a tab and literally do not care. They don't even crack them open. That is the average PoE player's experience with divination cards.
The equivalent would be, let's say that there were 5 or 6 different uniques or legendaries that Lilith could drop, and then there would be different drop rates. Maybe one rare item that has 1 or 2% drop rate, and some more common ones that are what you're most likely to get.
This would be admittedly very cool because target farming would be really cool in Diablo 4 because you're already technically doing the same dungeons constantly over again with the sigils and whatnot, because sigils are not random, as it turns out, which is so stupid. It doesn't take you all over the world if you're doing, like, I don't know, tier 20 sigils constantly. It literally takes you to 3 damn dungeons, and that's stupid. So might as well honestly just farm some kind of boss constantly for something like that if you wanted to. That would make sense in my opinion.
Lilith in Diablo 4 doesn't really drop anything good, seeing as we've now seen people have been killing her quite a decent amount with not really much dropping. It's mostly the fact that you get a really cool cosmetic. It's quite ugly, but it's cool that it is exclusive, right? And Path of Exile also has this divination card system. This is basically item shards created by supporters of the game. So you could basically say there's a specific unique item for your build that might have a divination card that drops in a specific area. Then you just target farm that specific area.
Double
It might take you a week, it might take you a month, but eventually you will get there. Oh, it's done. It's over.
What did he
So I guess the discussion here is, could Diablo 4 benefit from something like this? I
Could, yes. Will they do it? Well, Diablo developers are pretty incompetent if you honestly think about it, so probably not.
think it's quite easy for Diablo 4 to have some.
The gem tabs are not even coming in at season 1 because it's too complicated for the developers to make. And the fact that in the first place that they didn't think that we will want gem tabs, because yeah, cluttering half your inventory with useless gems is such a blast and so good and fun. Come on.
Something like this in the form of different dungeons just having a slightly higher chance to drop all rarities of a specific thing. Like, let's say, for example, the Champion's Demise dungeon could focus on dropping more helmets, more gloves, and more legs than other dungeons, and then maybe, like, less of some other things. And thus, if you really need a unique or a legendary aspect that's more common on that, say you really need the Druid helmet or something like that, then that's the dungeon you would farm and you would have a higher chance.
Would be nice.
We're obviously also seeing, because of a bug, even bigger problems for druids right now, where druids are also dropping barbarian uniques instead of their own uniques. So
I'm pretty sure they fixed that. This is like a day-old video.
that's frustrating for a lot of druids that are trying to get the items they need. We've had a lot of druids. One guy in my chat said he was level 92 and he's only been doing Nightmare Sigils, which have a slightly higher chance. Obviously, at the end of the dungeon, you can get uniques and stuff as a reward.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't have the druid unique he wants. So, it's pretty hard, especially since it's not really obtainable in other classes.
I hate druids so much.
Right? You're not going to get this while playing a rogue or while getting a sword. we're not completely without solutions here. And that's a similar thing we do to what we call league starters in Path of Exile. Whenever I'm designing one of those, I make sure that there are no uniques in the build that are rare. If it's trade league, then you have some more leeway because you can trade in Path of Exile. You don't have that option in Diablo 4, at least for legendary aspects and uniques. You can still trade for rare items, but that's obviously not entirely build enabling. And you might have seen a lot of people have been putting, oh, what helmet should I use in this build? Well, you should be using a Shaco, which is, pretty much unobtainable at this point. And there has been maybe 2 drops.
I did not even know that's a thing. Dude, 20% damage reduction just flat out. Amazing.
So outside of Helltides and Ovals, there's not much target farming in Diablo 4. And I wanted to make like an open-ended question. Would you like to see any form of target farming in Diablo 4, like a way to progress towards something that you need for a build? Maybe you've seen somebody do something really cool and you want to do the same. And maybe you don't want the answer to be like, just kill a bunch of monsters and hope it drops. And 3...
Well, the obvious answer here, yes. The more abilities to do X in a game, the better the game obviously is on, well, pretty much any way you... I don't think there's going to be anyone who's going to say, no, more ways to accomplish your goals in games is bad. You should only have one way to play a game. No, those games fail and those games are boring. Obviously, everyone wants this.
3 weeks or 3 months later, maybe you've got it. So what type of target farming would you...
And I know a lot of people watching, honestly, probably don't even care about that much. But the moment you do want to do something different, the moment you do want to try something new, you're going to instantaneously want this. That is also a reality.
Would you like to see? And this might be something that you will get with seasons in Diablo 4. They've said that they're going to have very robust and beefy seasons. I take them at their word and think, I wouldn't be surprised if they get bigger seasons than Path of Exile. It's a larger team with a larger budget. It'd be really cool to see them really knock it out of the park in Season 1 and do something really large. Obviously, a lot...
They already honestly did kind of a good job with seasons in Diablo 3. And I know we're not supposed to talk about the special needs kid and family, Diablo 3, obviously. But that game was on bare minimum bones, okay? There was probably one guy who was just pretending 90% of the day that he was actually doing stuff. And it's still actually got things in the season. It's still got a lot of changes. So considering Diablo 4 is way more successful, way more loved by people, and Blizzard obviously doesn't want to instantaneously just disintegrate all of this good favor that they just got with the community, they are going to make seasons big. They're going to make good changes. But admittedly, the fact that we can't get just, basic quality of life upgrades right now for like just a gem stash. So I want so little in my life, just separate stash for gems. I also want a nightmare. The nightmare sigils, tier 1 nightmare sigils to not give the exact same experience as a tier 20 nightmare sigil. Because if you haven't noticed this is by the way the thing. There's barely any difference in experience gains. It's all tied level as far as I can personally tell, at least. Like, you're doing a tier 20 sigil or you're doing a tier 10 sigil, same XP. It's pretty much same XP.
A lot of people have been very negative, joking about, ooh, maybe we'll get 2 treasure goblins. I don't think that'll be the case. I think we're going to see something really special, potentially even a lot larger than the Path of Exile leagues that we have seen. That's what I really want to see here. Hopefully. For my part, I think target farming would be a very good thing. I think your first step would be, obviously, they could add a league mechanic around target farming, but even an easy thing would be...
No. That is a horrible thing, Zazarian. What are you saying? Target farming as a league mechanic? No, that should be a basic game mechanic, not a target league mechanic. I don't want to wish for basic things and then Blizzard comes out, this is a league mechanic, aren't we? No, it should be basic and the league mechanics should be also something completely unique. No.
Just dungeons having a larger chance and then saying like, this dungeon drops more helmets, gloves, and legs. This drop more rings and amulets, etc. So that you have such a large amount of dungeons. And this also resolves another problem. A lot of people are like, oh man, everybody is farming one dungeon. and just repeating that over and over again. And this
Yeah.
also solves that. If you have different reasons to be in different dungeons outside of just XP per hour, then, you know, it's less of a problem. It's like, yeah, you're getting really high XP per hour, but you're not getting that amulet you need or the glove you need. Because the less there is in a game, the more it'll devolve down to, I need XP. That's all I care about. Either way, I just wanted to make this quick video. Been really enjoying Diablo 4.
Good video.
I've been very surprised about how many people are anti-feedback and just think they should leave the game exactly the way it is. I obviously
haven't heard about that at all, though.
Don't agree with that. I think every game that I've ever played could deal with feedback and grow and get better. Really excited for the future of Diablo 4, and I hope you guys are enjoying it and having a blast. Either way, thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.
What a catchphrase. Good video. Yep, good video. Target farming. It didn't even cross my mind, honestly, until I saw this. But yeah, that would make so much sense. Because, you know, because I currently am not in the problem. I kind of got everything I want, and I just want to level at the moment, so... But the second I start my second character, that will probably be instantaneously an issue that I do not want to... that I want to deal with in a reasonable pace. Not just rely on lady luck. But anyway, this was Cruiser Said, thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.